Okay. So Omer Ben Shoshan is Google Israel Site Program Manager. Omer came back to Israel after spending the last decade in Italy and the UK. At Google, he leads cross-functional efforts to drive a healthy site that helps Google thrive and is connected to the community. As such, he oversaw Google's collaboration with the PIP program that we've just heard Yarden talk about, and initiated the Connected Communities program. Amanie started her high-tech career at Shoshan, working on a MEPI-funded project focusing on promoting diversity in high-tech. When starting her position at Google, she became the first Arab in such a position and has since been leading impressive projects, including a pilot in Gaza and other projects in Africa. She's a native of Kufr Yassif in the north of Israel. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
You. So Omer, you've got a presentation you wanna
yeah,
walk us through, right?
I'll skip it. It's just one slide with the logo of the program. I can just speak about it verbally. So first of all, I just want to testify on Yarden's PIP program we just heard about. We ran the last cycles with them, and we're fortunate enough to celebrate the graduation ceremony in our very own Google for Startup campus in Tel Aviv. It's a great initiative with a great ROI. Going back to your conversation beforehand, so positive impact is driven, at least by our belief, that well-being and peace provide prosperity. So if our employees are happy, if the ecosystem is happy, that brings prosperity. At least that's what I believe in, and I think that's what Google believes in as well. During your conversation with Mr. Perez, you also touched on the point that I want to elaborate on, is that other than amazing policies and hiring initiatives, there is a vibrant ecosystem, and we can all benefit from it. Or to rephrase it, is just we heard how programs and companies are elevating talent with policymakers that are trying to enable it. I'll try to share how Google captured the talent ecosystem globally in prime, but also in remote location. In its essence, we believe in two things: that A is about people, and B, everything is about knowledge. So back in 2011, we first introduced Google Israel Initiative, sponsored by Professor Matthias, who is heading the R&D Center in Israel, and we called it Google for Startups. At Google for Startup, we aim to level the playing field for startup founders and communities to succeed, connect with the best of Google's product connections and best practices. A year after we launched the Google for Startup campuses, which we have already in 6 different locations globally, to answer the need for free access to workspace, to events, and diverse community of like-minded entrepreneurs. In recent years, we were looking to increase the impact of these amazing activities, mainly to answer 2 needs. The first one is to bridge the physical capacity constraint that we are suffering from. For example, in Tel Aviv, in our main campus, we have about 150 seats in our main hall, but a community of larger than 10,000 active community members. Also, and maybe mainly and more relevant to this forum, we wanted to move the geographic barriers. So as you can expect, no one can expect entrepreneurs to invest more resources in the traveling, if that's an option. So COVID-19, that's not an option. Sometimes the Palestinian-Israeli border is not an option. So if we think about it, if Google for Startup aims to level the playing field for startup founders and communities to succeed, and our campuses are a physical community for community workspace and event spaces, we've just launched a program called Connecting Communities with the aspiration to make these offerings available to all communities everywhere, basically virtually. Such efforts were somewhat redundant in recent years, since Since then, because we need a demand environment, the ecosystem need to pull, and it's not for us to push such offerings, and that changed a lot. There's a great need for appetite on the Palestinian side, but not only, all across MENA, so Middle East, North Africa, also South America and everywhere else in remote locations. There's a great appetite and great community and ecosystem for technological entrepreneurs. And this allows us to spread the knowledge and keep our channels with new and upcoming communities. So Google, or more specifically Google Israel, is a great partner, and we will be very happy to collaborate more on sharing knowledge and sharing best practices, and enable and foster tech communities wherever they are.
Well, I know that we will definitely take you up on that. And as I mentioned with the conversation with Yarden, we'll happily make any connections with interested stakeholders to see how we can continue and enhance the impact of this conference. Amanie, I have a few questions for you, if you're up for it. Before we start, I talked about your very impressive experience, but you're also an alumna of the US government exchange program, right? In 2014, yeah. It was, I think it was called Economic Empowerment Through Entrepreneurship, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, lucky you. I'm waiting to be invited.
So I was very lucky because this was like the last time they did this program. So I was, yeah, I think I'm so lucky.
Wonderful. So I think the first thing we would like to hear from you is a program that you were very prominent in leading. Can you tell us a little bit about Google's Project Dove?
Yeah, so recently I moved into a new role, and now I'm doing program management and business development for Google Health Research team. But just before that, for the last 5 years, I was working on recruitment for Google research teams. And one of the projects that I started was Project Dove. So this is a project that focused on tapping into the immense potential of the software engineers in Gaza Strip and the West Bank, and meeting their aspirations for software engineering jobs within Google offices in Africa and Europe. So we started with a pilot project, and actually before starting the pilot, we had to better understand the talent in Palestine, the experience they have, the materials they learn at the universities. So we started with contacting the universities in the West Bank and Gaza to try to understand the materials they teach. And we received 200 CVs of top talent graduates from these universities. We started the pilot with screening the CVs, and then we had like screening conversations with the recruiters, and after that we conducted 20 interviews, technical interviews for 20 candidates. Unfortunately, none of them passed the interviews. So we started a research to understand what was wrong there. It was important for us to hire talent that meets Google bar worldwide and will need to pass the standard hiring process, as like the global hiring process of Google. So when we went like more deep into the results of the interviews, we found out that the candidates solved the interview's questions, but not in the best way. So we were like, the solutions were right, but complicated. And we were like looking for more efficient solutions. But that was a sign that the talent have the ability and meets the bar, but they only need a little bit of guidance on how to think and provide solutions. So we started a pilot, as I said, with 5 candidates. One of them was from Gaza, and the rest were from the West Bank. One of them will be starting soon at Google Poland. And one actually passed the hiring process successfully for research scientist role. But unfortunately, as of the slowing down in hiring processes now because of the COVID, so currently we're not moving to the offer stage. And one couldn't proceed with the interviews process, and 2 didn't pass. So in total, I think 2 out of 5 candidates passed the hiring process successfully, which is a very high rate in compared to the the pass-to rate in Google hiring processes. The only thing that we help the candidate with to get more prepared for the interviews is that we provided 2 mock interviews for each candidate before their interviews. Each candidate had to pass 6 interviews, technical interviews with Google. So I think we had a very small investment in preparing the candidates, and it's approved that they didn't need so much investment to meet the global bar. And I think it's worth it. We could have two hires out of 4 candidates because the 5th one actually didn't interview.
I think it's a very important point that you're raising, because we're talking a lot about the talent pool and bringing in or working with Palestinian professionals or working with Palestinian interns like in PIP. But I think you're raising an important point of also helping the professionals themselves wherever they need to build their capacities or some soft skills, anything that you can do to help them achieve what they're trying to achieve. So it's not just a one-way process, but rather working with the candidates themselves.
I think the main point is to make them feel that they are wanted, and the company is really interested to have them join the company. I hear others who other companies who are discussing the opportunity of leading trainings for the candidates to meet their bar. I think it's not necessary, not always. It depends, of course, on the technical area. But I was highly impressed, and I think Google's bar is one of the highest hiring bars. And if we could find candidates that they meet our bar, I believe that they will be also a good fit for other companies.
So thank you both so much. As I said, I know we at the Paris Center will definitely work to develop more and more partnerships with Google, and love to connect you with any other relevant partners. So thank you, and Omer for being with us this evening and for sharing your experience. Thank you.
Thank you.